What's the worst way you caught your parents cheating? I was making TikToks in my room when my phone died, so I grabbed my mom's phone from the kitchen counter to use her camera. That's when I saw it. A text notification from Mike from yoga. Can't wait to see you tomorrow. Same hotel? I stared at the screen. My dad's name is David, and he definitely doesn't do yoga. Plus, my mom hasn't been to a yoga class in like 3 years. More texts kept popping up. Photos of hotel room keys. Heart emojis. Miss you already, baby. I felt sick, but I screenshotted everything before the phone locked and sent it to myself. The timestamps showed they'd been texting for months. Always when dad was at work. Always the same hotel on Tuesdays and Thursdays. The next morning at breakfast, I watched my mom make dad his coffee like nothing was wrong. She kissed his forehead and said she'd probably run errands later. My dad smiled and said he loved her. I wanted to throw up. After dad left for work, I told my mom I was feeling sick and needed to stay home from school. She seemed hesitant but agreed, checking her phone every few minutes. At 1:30 p.m., she came downstairs dressed up way too nice for grocery shopping. She grabbed her keys and said she'd be back in a few hours. I waited 10 minutes, then called an Uber to the hotel address from the screenshots. My heart was pounding the entire ride. The hotel was fancy, way fancier than anywhere my family ever stayed. I found her car in the parking lot, parked next to a black BMW, room 237, just like in the texts. I took the elevator up, walked down the hallway, and knocked on the door. Room service. My mom opened it, wearing a white bathrobe. Behind her, some guy with gray hair was scrambling to put his shirt on. He looked like he was in his 50s. Hi, Mom, I said, holding up her phone. You left this at home. She went completely white and grabbed the door frame. Also, I continued, you got like 15 texts from dad asking where you are. He's worried because you're not answering. The guy behind her whispered, who is this? My 17-year-old daughter, she said, her voice shaking. I looked directly at him. And you must be Mike from yoga. Nice to finally meet you. He pushed past us and ran down the hallway, still putting his shoes on and carrying his jacket. My mom just stood there in the bathrobe, staring at me in complete shock. By the way, I added, pulling out my own phone, I already sent dad all the screenshots. Every single text, every photo, every hotel receipt you saved in your camera roll. He's on his way here right now. Her face went from white to green. You didn't. I did. About 20 minutes ago. He texted back saying he was leaving work immediately and that he'd see you soon. She sank down onto the hotel bed, head in her hands. Next time, I said, maybe don't leave proof of your affair on the counter and lose the heart emojis. It's embarrassing. I turned to leave, then stopped. Oh, and Mom, Dad says he'll be staying at Grandma's house tonight. He wants you to pack your things and be gone by the time he gets home tomorrow. As I walked back to the elevator, I could hear her crying through the door. Part of me felt bad, but mostly I felt proud that I'd stood up for my dad. At home, I sat in the driveway. Everything looked the same, but everything had changed. Then my phone buzzed. A text from Dad. Thank you for telling me. I'm proud of you. I broke down crying right there. Not from sadness, but pure relief. Like I'd finally let go of a secret that was suffocating me. Later that night, Dad called. I need you to know this isn't your fault, he said. You didn't break up our marriage. Your mom did that when she chose to cheat. He told me he'd confronted her at the hotel. She tried to deny everything at first, but he'd seen all the evidence. Mike was apparently married too, with kids my age. 3 months later, my parents are divorced. Dad and I live in a smaller apartment, but it feels more like home. We eat too much pizza and watch movies. Sometimes I wonder if I should have just deleted the texts, but then I see how much happier Dad is. Mom tried blaming me, but he shut it down. You destroyed it when you walked into that hotel. I haven't talked to her in 2 months. She moved in with Mike after his wife left him. I miss her a little, but mostly I'm just angry. Still, I'm not sorry. Dad deserved the truth, and I'm proud I didn't stay silent.